Oh yeah, I did buy it. Okay. Why is it not downloading it?
I have another VR headset. I don't have two brains. I
Jesus.
need more eyes, more brains. I didn't open the box. I might return it or sell it. I'm still deciding. I got a bonus from the VA. How about that? Bigger than last year.
Wow.
I know.
VA. I didn't even know VA pays bonuses. Nice.
Yeah, I've gotten one every year. This year's 1% of my salary. I've gotten the best rating I can get at the VA like every time. Oh fuck, I probably picked the wrong skill for Malphite.
That's awesome. Q is what you want.
Yeah, I didn't pick Q. Oh well.
Okay.
Where are you going so I can not be alone?
You're gonna gotta go mid.
2 mid, got it. Bam.
No, you gotta go top. Sorry, friend.
This is bullshit.
I know. You guys will.
Send Warwick mid?
You guys should be splitting up. You shouldn't let two ADCs spot, but whatever. It is what it is. Yep. Okay.
Minions have spawned.
So what like items do I get on this dude?
Just get fucking AP Luden's Echo.
Got him! 2 for 1. Totally worth. He said a Luden's Echo. Echo! Alright.
Got it. Yes.
I'd be careful, Carmen. Carmen, just be careful.
Yeah, I can't do anything,
You
man.
just no, stop it. You just don't want to fight them when they have a level on you and it's
I'm the guy who's never
2v1.
played Warwick. Okay?
Sure.
Don't want to hear it. How do you buy Warwick and not play him? He's actually pretty good. This is not doing shit.
Just you don't want to. Nice shot. Nice. Can you flash? Flash. Oh, you're dead. Oh, you're not dead.
Okay.
Trying to get Emily to go see Last Jedi again.
Careful, Warwick. I'm coming. Oh my god, this guy's so bad. Be careful. When I'm here, though, Just that's the time you want to go in.
I don't do
Oh,
any
boy.
damage to them, man. Have you seen this? It's like nothing.
Yeah.
It's like 0% damage.
Yeah,
An enemy has
Does
been slain.
I
nothing.
guess so. It's like you don't ever want to go in 1v2 or when you guys are low.
We need a fucking ADC is what we need. We can't have two at the bottom.
You can. With Snowball, you can completely. You'll be fine. But look at this guy. He just keeps going in.
Yeah, he's feeding him, man.
Got it. Going.
An enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain. An enemy An ally has been slain.
Yeah, be careful. So right now, they're in a great spot, right? They have advantage on you. They have a level. I'm coming very slowly, but I'm coming. And the second I'm ready, you can start coming too. Okay, come.
I can't. He just stands there and he's a fucking goddamn cat. Kog'Maw! I can't even speak! Like. What the fuck? It's not such a retarded game mode. I don't understand. I'm trying not even to be toxic and I'm failing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Ay, ay, ay.
The fact that you're dying to them has nothing to do with the mode or your
Yes,
team.
it had everything to do with that mode, man. He sat. It was 1v1 on a
Because
fucking
he's ahead of
Kog'Maw,
you.
and he stood there and took all those hits from a guy who's supposed to be tanky. Doesn't even make sense.
You're not
He
building
didn't
tanky
even
number one.
kite. He didn't even
He didn't
kite.
have to. He's ahead of you.
Am I fucking that much already?
Wow, this map is good. Help her.
That
I
was
made you
PUBG
miss your
around.
alt. That has nothing to do with.
Sure.
It's this is so fucking retarded. Oh my god. This mode makes me laugh. Ay, ay, ay.
Destroyed a turret.
Going.
Your team has destroyed a turret. An enemy has been slain.
I'd be careful. I wouldn't fight. Now if Ash hits an ult or something. fuck in there. Hold him. I love Jax in this mode. Oh, he's so strong. What to get? They have a really strong AP Kog'Maw? Okay, throw mail. Guess.
Yes.
Ma. Mail. Look at that. Nice. Ah, you stole it from me. Oh no, you got it.
Slain an enemy. Your turret has been destroyed.
I'm moving as fast as I can.
Yep. Yeah, not good. Yep.
Sure.
I hate this. Fuck. Olaf's hard.
I quote that and play it over and over.
A lot
for
of
ya.
skill shots. Oh yeah, take that shit.
This fucking Kog'Maw's making me cry, man. He just never dies. It's absurd how much life he has or whatever. I just don't get it.
Jesus, get in there, you fucking idiot!
Shut down.
There you go. Come on, show me potato salad.
This Corki doing so much to me, bro.
AD Corgi.
Going.
God! I just don't know what I'm gonna have to do to kill some of these people.
I'm moving as fast as I can.
Let's build this to be a little bitch.
has been slain.
Yeah, I know, I know. Fucking split pushing cunt. God, what a bitch.
Turret has been destroyed.
Split pushing, try hard, and nerf. Jesus Christ.
Oh. Traded for days.
We just got a group. I mean, groups were, I think we're stronger. Like, a lot stronger. With your ult and MF ult, like, we're way stronger than them. What the fuck? Oh, that MF is good.
Why is the Q not going off? Ever. Like, it's Jax, man.
Are you alive or are you dead? Okay, I'm
I'm
dead.
super dead. I don't know, my teammate, like, Jax jumped in, and the guy who was with me ran off after someone else completely, so I don't know what the fuck he was thinking.
Yeah, I can kill this Jack. That little bitch is running away.
You think it's worth getting a Thorn Mail?
No, it's up to you. I have one.
An enemy.
You know, I raped this guy in lane, and all of a sudden he's 11 and 3 because he just feeds off the fucking weak.
Shut down.
Let me download this Pillars of Eternity. "38 minutes."
Going.
That's a huge fucking download, Jesus Christ. We just got a group. Nice, see? You're pretty unstoppable in this mode, I'm telling you.
Has been slain.
I'm trying.
Sure.
Yeah, I know Jack's alive. 3 of them are dead!
Your team has destroyed a turret.
Corky's pushing our top.
Corky, Corky, Corky.
I'm going.
He backed up. Oh, no, he didn't fight. Stupid him.
Yep. That's what I have now. Thorn Mail. Get a Lich Bane and a Warmox.
Got it.
It's gonna be my stuff.
Has been slain.
Let's do it. Let's keep going. We're dead. The fuck was that?
Yeah, maybe. That's where I intended to.
guys gotta CC him. Just ult Jax if I were you from here on. Or Kog'Maw, I guess.
Wow, full healing. I don't understand why.
Quadra kill.
His life just kept going up and up the more damage I tried to do. That was cool. He got 100% life steal. How did he do that? Seriously, does he heal Nocturne? How did he heal like that? That was crazy. No idea.
No, I really don't.
I think a gargoyle stone skin or more health.
Sure.
You? Oh, I wouldn't go Gargoyle. It'll make you weaker then. I would just go Void Stat. Oh, well. Actually, they don't even have any MR. Zonius? As long as you don't forget to use it.
Die. But nope.
Jax is so broken.
Yeah, you think? This mode's ridiculous, man.
Yeah, Carmen. Yeah, and it's supposed to be. It's fine. You did fine. Doesn't matter.
Oh, my ult does douche. He's got shot by a turret. Nothing to. What is going on in this game?
Inhibitor has been destroyed. Has been destroyed. An enemy is legendary. An enemy has been slain.
Get on my face.
Slain an enemy.
Yes.
Oh god, guys.
You see what I did there? He ulted
no,
and I
because
canceled
it
it
was
with my
all-
ult. He actually didn't even move.
Okay.
Look out. Coming!
Bye, Felicia. Look at that. What's that? Look at that.
Has destroyed an inhibitor.
Nice job. I'm ending. Fuck this. I'm not.
Yeah.
Not gonna. They're like trying to kill people. I'm like, I am not risking this.
Alright, you get stayed cool.
I don't know. I'm gonna give you that one just to be ironic.
It's all streamed. People are watching the stream and probably wondering why I play this game because it gives me such anger. See what my chat has to say about this.
I don't really like.
How high? I
Overwatch, man.
subbed you.
He's good early,
How
but
to not be lagging Windows 10 when you play Battlefield 1 and Battlefield. Oh, yeah, hey Echo. Turn off full screen optimizations.
all right. I'm gonna go. I don't have any plans tonight. I'm on call, so I can't really do anything exciting. But I'm just gonna go get a burger nearby. I'll be back like in an hour. You be around? Or will
Probably.
you- Okay. Okay, I'll play with everyone and back. I'll be back.
All right, Echo, what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to fire up Battlefront. Do you want to see Battlefront or Battlefield settings? All right, send me your system specs, and I might be able to give you a little guidance here if you know what your graphics card is and whatnot. Okay, well that's no problem. I don't have the original Battlefront installed right now, but it has very similar graphics settings to this game because it's based on the same engine. So, you know, kind of the things you're going to want to be... Sorry, my brain. So kind of the settings, there're going to be a lot of overlap on the settings. And a couple things to keep in mind. So if your computer isn't able to sustain 60 frames a second, first thing I'd recommend you turn off is vertical sync. So what vertical sync does, I don't know if you're familiar with it, I'll give kind of a quick overview, but it basically makes sure that the rate that your monitor refreshes never exceeds, or excuse me, the frame rate that your video card is generating never exceeds the refresh rate of your monitor. So like if you have a 60 hertz monitor, it'll never go over 60 FPS. And it does that so that the screen doesn't tear. The problem is a couple of things. One is if it's on and your computer can't sustain 60 frames a second, it's going to start cutting your frame rate in half, basically until it finds a frame rate your computer can get. And this can be really bad if your computer's kind of on the edge of being able to sustain 60 because you'll be dropping, fluctuating all over the place. It's going to be really frustrating. If your computer is running it at a pretty steady 60 FPS, it is worth keeping on in certain situations, but it can induce some input lag. Basically, it'll limit your computer's frame rate to the maximum of your refresh rate of your monitor, and that keeps the image from tearing. So it doesn't look, it's hard to describe, it's kind of subtle effect, but you'll notice it when you see it. Basically, your computer's generating frames so fast the monitor can't keep up, and so things start to look distorted. All right. So that's just one setting I would look at and definitely turn off if you're already having issues. You know, the other big ones to look at Okay, so in terms of taking that long to load into the game, that could be any number of things. That could be, that your computer doesn't have enough memory or whatever. So it could be a slow hard drive. Could be your network connection slow. Right. So all you have to do to turn these settings off, you're going to go in Battlefront 1. The menu looks very similar to what you see right here. You're going to hit your options or find where the options is. Go to video. And then you're going to see all your options down here. You can play in full screen mode, that's fine. I'm streaming, which is why I have it in borderless, but I'd recommend full screen. That will give you a little bit more performance. You just click the arrows to set it. You're going to have an enable DirectX 12 option. This is one you're going to have to experiment with. It depends really on what graphics card you have. If you have an ATI graphics card, that would be something like a Radeon series or an RX series. Having it on is probably better. If you have any NVIDIA card, those are GTX brand cards, then you'd probably want it off. Film effects, film grain, stuff like this, not going to have a big impact. What you're going to want to go down to is your resolution scale. Now, and this kind of interacts with your resolution setting. So I've got mine set here. You see it says 2560 by 1440. That's my monitor's native resolution. It's the default resolution of my monitor. What resolution scale will do is a percentage of that monitor. So I can actually bump this up or lower it. So this is actually a setting you can play with that actually might help your frame rate a lot if you lower this setting. Try like 70%, something like that. It's going to lower the internal rendering resolution of the game. It should be better. It will look worse. So you're going to have to try to find a balance between performance and not lagging. Personally, in shooters, I prefer high frame rates over the prettiest settings, although I spend lots of money on my computer, so I can try to get both. You can turn it all the way down. 25% is low it's going to do. What that'll do at 25%, you're going to be rendering at a quarter of the normal game resolution. You'll probably get a big frame rate boost, but the game's going to look ugly as sin. So can you see in the background here, I don't know how well it's coming through on the stream, but let me just show you what it looks like at 25% here. I'm just going to fire up a single player mission so you can actually see it. And like I said, you're going to want to find the balance. I'd recommend starting around 70-80% if you're going to mess with that setting at all. There's other ones I'll explain to you in a sec. There's a lot in this.
According to Paldora's intel, my father's been refueling his fleet at Chinook Station for months. Our old friend Hask is overseeing the operation.
So do you see how the game looks kind of grainy?
Shut down the station.
Looks kind of,
We'll strike a solid blow to
I don't know if you can tell, but it doesn't look very clear. That's because it's rendering at a low resolution internally.
If we're lucky.
Probably gonna get killed here in a sec, because I don't know where it's supposed to be. Yeah. Let me get me... Okay, now what happens, I'm going to bump it back up to 100 so you see the difference. Look at the X-Wing, pay attention how detailed it is. So we bump it back up to 100%, which is just default. Oh, there you go. You should see even on the stream that my X-Wing now looks a lot more detailed than it did before.
If we can capture him and shut down the station, we'll strike a solid blow to the Empire.
Not to mention, Hask could be the key to finally...
Alright. So I'm going to go back to those options. As far as upgrading your network, you're paying, that really has to do with your internet service provider. There's not a ton you can do without increasing your net speed. Depending on where you live, there's some places where you might be able to get like a virtual private network, like a gaming network, pay a subscription for a VPN. I'm not going to go into that, it's too technical. I don't think it's worth it unless you've got really significant latency issues or you're living like overseas. It's probably not worth it. Alright, other settings you want to play with here, so I'll kind of explain what they all do. Texture quality, that's going to impact how clear things look. I'm not familiar with them, so I really can't tell you. Texture quality is kind of like how detailed everything in the game is going to be. This is a setting that is really based on how much memory your graphics card has. So you can certainly set it lower it'll lower the quality of the visuals, but it should give you a performance boost. If you notice that your game like runs smooth and then periodically stutters like a ton, probably you're looking at hitting the memory limit on your video card, and you're going to want to turn this down. Texture filtering, this is a pretty low cost option. Most modern graphics cards, you should be able to run it pretty high. What this does is make images look clearer further into the distance. It's controlling what's called anisotropic filtering. Basically, the higher the setting, the more clear things are going to look the further into the distance. It sounds expensive in terms of performance, but it's not. Lighting quality, I don't know, some games have more advanced settings than this, but this is basically the quality of different different lights. So sometimes in settings like this, like you might see like a laser blast coming at you in a different way, like it'll light up the environment around it. And on lower settings, it might not do that. If your hard drive is pretty full, it can make the game stutter and lag and take a long time to load. You know, one of the reasons mine loads quick is I've got it on a solid state drive, which is a pretty fast version of a hard drive. Shadow quality, this is a setting on most graphics cards. It affects obviously the detail of shadows and kind of can affect the overall quality of the game. Usually this is a very expensive setting and one you're going to want to play with initially. Especially on high settings, shadows can really have a huge performance hit. Effects, this has to do with like explosions and, you know, decals in the wall, like bullet holes and stuff like that. You're probably fine leaving this pretty high. You can play with it, but it's not one of the first ones I would tweak. Post-processing, it's kind of describing it here. This has to do with motion blur, distortion, high definition range lighting, depth of field. All these effects can be pretty expensive, something to turn down. What you can look in doing, I would definitely remove stuff on your PC you don't need, because if your hard drive is pretty full, it can be chugging along. You know, if you're running a lot of applications in the background, things that you don't need to be running when you're playing the game, shut those off. Your computer's got a limited amount of memory, and the more shit in memory, the longer it's going to take to load things, and you'll get some of that stuttering periodic lag I talked about. One of the easiest ways to kind of tell your system resources is you can hit Control-Shift-Escape, and it'll bring up Task Manager, which you should see now on the stream. And if you look at performance, you'll get a sense of where your shortcomings are on your computer. Now, I'm not really running, the game's in the menu, so it's not really using a lot of anything. But like down here, GPU, this is my graphics card. Now I'm using Windows 10. I don't know if you're in Windows 10, but this is a Windows 10 feature. So I've got my graphics card. It can show my utilization. Usually in games, that's around 100%. These are my hard drives. You can see what percentage of them they're at. So if your hard drives are really grinding away, if you see these numbers at like 100%, probably something's running in the background that's using up all your basically bandwidth for your hard drive, and that might be why it's taking you so long to load into the game. Memory is very important. I have 16 gigs of memory. You'll see this. Okay. Yeah, so Control plus Shift plus Escape. That's going to show you your basically the CineMat. Processes, these are all the programs running on my computer right now. Don't mess with it too much unless you know what they are. And I'm hitting performance so I can see this. You know, if you find your memory is near 100%, you see mine says 56 here, that's definitely something that can affect games. And there's basically two options there to help with that. Turn off everything you don't need to run on your computer, or buy more memory. Now, memory is kind of expensive right now. It's actually very easy to install, but it's kind of expensive right now. All right, so I'm going to go back to this real quick. If you're using a wireless internet connection, you should leave your Wi-Fi on. So post-process quality, this is one of those things you're going to want to turn down. Mesh quality, this has to do with like the level of detail in the world. This can be a very high cost setting depending on your computer. I would recommend looking at turning this down. Same thing with terrain quality. This is going to be like how detailed the terrain is, how smooth the hills look. Are they going to look rounded? Are they going to look more blocky? Again, it can be one that's pretty heavy. Ground cover, this is a setting that's going to be very map specific. If you're on a map that has lots of trees and grass, this is going to have a huge performance impact. Otherwise it won't. Anti-aliasing I want to explain to you for a sec because this one's kind of important. So there's basically two settings in Battlefront 2, and I think there's more in Battlefront 1. Now here you see my options are TAA high and TAA low. What anti-aliasing does, and it's going to be very hard to see on the stream, but it helps with jagged images on objects. So like if you look at this line right here, you might see that it's kind of got some stair-step type effect to it. You'd really have to look close. Anti-aliasing helps smooth that out. Alright, you're also noticing when I switch it to high in this game that some of the background actually changes, like some of the things get blurred out. So anti-aliasing can be blurry. It's kind of a personal preference thing. In Battlefront 1, your settings aren't going to be there's going to be a TAA setting and there's going to be FXAA settings. If you see MSAA, turn that off. That's high performance utilization. I'm not going to go into all the detail of it, but MSAA requires a lot of graphics power. Yeah, Wi-Fi shouldn't lag you if it's on unless you're using it and it's your only connection source. So generally so just kind of hitting on this real quick, anti-aliasing, high performance, or a very much a performance draining setting. You want to be careful on what you set this to. I would definitely put it low. Ambient occlusion, this is more techno babble. No, for me, so this type of anti-aliasing, I have a pretty high-end graphics card, isn't going to affect my performance all that much. For some people it does. In general, if you have a relatively modern graphics card, this isn't going to have a big deal. I'll help you identify your graphics card in a second because that'll help me make better recommendations for you. Ambient occlusion, this is another high intensity setting. This is it really affects the lighting in the world. And this can look really cool, so if you can run it at full, great. Most likely your computer can't if you're having issues, so I would turn it either down to advanced or off. What the HBAO stands for, it's horizon base ambient occlusion. Basically, you get some really cool lighting effects with this. It does look really awesome, but it can be very subtle, and it takes a huge performance cost. Unless you got a really good graphics card, I wouldn't be doing it. What I want you to do, go back, hit Control Shift Escape, click on this Performance tab, and then double click on GPU. Sorry, you don't have to double click on GPU. I'm clicking that wrong. I'm not certain what I just did to make that show up the way it did. Just click on GPU, and I want you to tell me what it says right up here. You see where mine says NVIDIA GTX 1080? Type out what yours says for me. Okay. Alrighty. So that's something I was kind of suspecting. So what an Intel graphics card is actually built into your processor. So your CPU has an extra video card component built into it. If you're going to be a lot into gaming, you're going to want to get a dedicated graphics card. That'll be good for basic games, but I don't think it'll get you too much further. So I would recommend, at least for these settings, turning most things to low. You know, turn off anti-aliasing, turn pretty much everything I showed you down as far as you can. You might even want to lower the render resolution a bit. Alright, so that, you know, like I said, I would focus on getting your settings to be playable. I'm just kind of looking up what your graphics card, where it's what it's a part of, which product. Okay. You know, so to give you an idea of things you're going to want to look into, I don't know what your computer, all of its specs are, what it supports, what it doesn't. But the two major manufacturers right now for gaming graphics cards, you've got ATI Technologies, or excuse me, AMD, which is makes the Radeon graphics series. They bought ATI. ATI doesn't exist anymore. So you've got AMD cards, and then you've got NVIDIA cards. I'm going to type that out since it's not the most intuitive thing. All right. Now, there's lots of internet wars about graphics cards and who's the best, and it's basically like Nintendo versus Sega all over again. I'll tell you my opinion. I run NVIDIA graphics cards. I have the past few years. I've also had AMD. Get the most performance you can for whatever budget you can afford. To get a high-end, uh, there's no free ones. Honestly, they're pretty complex chips. Your best bet would be to try to save up some money and purchase a hand-me-down. Because you're looking at a pretty advanced processor. So like, I'm gonna pull up a website. Hold on one sec. Let's see what I can do. PC Part Picker is a good one. So I don't want to advertise for another company. I'm not trying to make money off of any of this stuff. So PCPartPicker.com is a good website for building a computer. Now, I don't go spending money without knowing what you're doing. It's not hard to upgrade computers, but you got to figure out what kind of motherboard you have, what power supply you have. There's a lot of techno babble in it, but I'm going to show you what I would recommend looking into as far as video cards are concerned. Okay, you're going to want to find something probably, now you see all these prices and all that. High-end graphics cards, you're looking at spending $700 and up. And a good solid entry-level card are these GTX 1050, 1080 Ti cards, or the 1060s. So I'm going to show you the 1060s because that's kind of where I think I would personally not go too much lower than, but you'll be fine with a 1050 Ti if that's all you can afford. And I like the 6 gigabyte versions, not the 3 gigabyte versions. That's how much memory the card has, and 6 gigabyte gives you a lot more longevity. Hey, Emily. My wife's home, and now she's singing to my cat. So, this basically helps you find different manufacturers. They're all the same chip. They're all made by the same people. It's just different companies buy the chip from NVIDIA and then kind of put different coolers and things on it. You're going to want to look at upgrading your graphics card. That's basically long-term what you'd want to do. I wouldn't, like I said, 1050 Ti's definitely more affordable. The AMD equivalents are these RX cards. So like an RX 570 would be pretty close. With what you have right now, the best thing you can do with an Intel card is turn everything down as low as you can and lower that resolution scale. That'll get you at least to a point where you can play and enjoy the game. All right, I was Talking to my wife, so I was off mic there. I'm gonna pause my stream. I might have to stop it and reboot it, guys. All right. So yeah. So for right now, to reduce your lag, turn all your graphics settings down to low. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna hit your options, go over to video. Right. Turn down your resolution scale here. Start around 70%. And here where it's got graphics quality, just set it to low. Go for low. And if you notice it's running great and you feel like you got some performance room to spare, start increasing settings. I would start with bumping up the resolution thing first. I'm going to restart my stream real quick because I got it under the League of Legends title. So it's going to go offline. It'll be back online. And it'll be back online in like 20 seconds.